If you do not wish to be recorded, please let us know at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. I will call this meeting to order tonight at 6:01 p.m. You'd all please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Thank you very much. So this evening, we will need to begin our meeting tonight with election of board officers. So I will be taking nominations for president, vice president, and letra. And we've had an opportunity to discuss this prior to this meeting. So I would like to nominate,
You can do it however you like. Yeah, however you like.
perfect. I would like to nominate Director Kinsler for the vice president role. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Actually, I need to do a roll call on
Oh,
that.
that's right.
Yep, that's okay.
Getting home wrong.
So Director Kinsler. Director Madigan. Director Milo.
Yes.
Director Thibodeau. Director Tracy. Thank you.
I would like to nominate Director for president of the board.
Second.
All right, we'll do the roll call vote on that. So Director Kinsler. Director Madigan.
Yes.
Director Milo.
Yes.
Director Thibodeau.
Yes.
Director Tracy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Our, forgot to mention Melissa's joining us just remotely, so she's here on the laptop and also on the desk. For the third role, I would like to nominate Director Kinsler to continue as our legislative rep.
Director Kinsler. Director Madigan.
Yes.
Director Milo.
Yes.
Director Thibodeau.
Yes.
And Director Tracy.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then, I think we agreed that Joanne will continue to represent us for the WIAT representative, and that's why we missed this, but we were acting
Second.
we did want it officially in April as a representative. We did not follow our instructions, so thank you all for doing this. Check all boxes. Yes. We're all set. Excellent. And the next item on our agenda is our student representative report. And it looks like they're busy with students this evening. It's fantastic. What's been happening while I'm missing tonight? All right, then I will move forward to board resolutions. And Lauren, I will turn this over to you once we talk about a few folks and have them complete. So one of the individuals we were trying to recognize this evening is Mr. Bridges, who is from Palmer, right over Get back to you, Bella. Students, thank you very much for coming this evening. OES thoughtfully organized a family game drive, and I would love to hear what the students did with me sharing what it was about. These are kids.
So, we wanted to help kids that didn't have enough money to get like Christmas presents, because that's like the most fun for kids, like the most fun part of Christmas. And we didn't want anybody to have to miss out on that, so we asked other families to donate games, board games, card games to the school, and we had them delivered to the kids that needed Christmas presents.
Do you happen to know how many games you bought?
About 80.
Wow. Is it something that you want to do?
Probably. But we're going to middle school next year. So,
Pass it on.
yeah.
Were they really surprised when you did that?
Yeah.
Is this the first year we're doing this?
Yes. Well, yeah, to reframe that, Miss Barbara, our counselor, she always does a holiday help program for our families and in need. But this year, I just partnered with her, and we, I asked her like what the greatest need was for that particular program, so that's $2,000 help. And so we just kind of worked together.
Well, as Kathy said, we're very proud of what you've accomplished, in the games, in card games, that's impressive. And also very proud of your leadership and your service to our community, that's fantastic. So we're glad you were able to come tonight, so we can help your classes.
And good idea to do partnership. We always get more done in the partnership than partnership.
The school board has some gifts for you. If you can stand right over here, we're going to grab a picture and we're going to bring you a treat here in just a little bit. Board, Brittany, can you come on down? And board, can you step over this way, please? Mrs. Smith?
I was trying to make it work.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's do pictures, or you want to hold your stuff?
Oh yeah, let's give them stuff.
Tasty, it says many, many things.
All right, great job, Cougars.
All right, next up, I would like to invite Ms. Lisa, yours to us, an individuals led the family, I'm sorry, led the food drive. Led the food drive at PTR, and I would like if some of you who can tell us how much food you took behind were able to bring.
We were just double checking, 3,168 items.
So, our time to drive, we have done that one, and we're hoping that families at Christmas can have a big family.
So tell me, what did you do to encourage people to bring in the food drive? How did you promote?
Boxes with the most food and we get all work.
Was it pretty competitive?
Always like a big competition.
Do you know which classes has the most?
Stewart, second grade, and then their class, they're actually leadership from Miss O'Donovan's class because we have a different class every month. So November was their month, and they actually got second prize. So it's awesome.
And so all of this food was to already be
Perfect.
Has it been brought up?
It's a lot of work. They did a lot. They really took charge this year. This is like they're helping out with it, and they problem solved. They showed who was going to collect food from what thing. They were loading their boxes and unloading them because they each had to carry. Loading boxes in the cars, figuring all of that out. And then Tony Walter in the office, she was kind of my office person that was there to help them, and so they really did all of it by themselves, other than drive it to the
You could try it, right?
Anything else you want to share with us? That's a lot. That's a good accomplishment. Lisa, thank you so much for gathering all this food and sharing it with our community through the food bank. And that's a wonderful need that we have for the community. So the work you do is really important and we're really proud of it. We're going to do a picture like we did with the food. I know. Get it on a stick of butter.
It's gonna be tough. I can only understand the children. It's gonna be tough. Yeah, of course she wants to.
Did you find the bear?
And was it the first batch for the Students' Council kids?
Great job. Let's give the Mountaineers a round.
All right, we have a few more things to recognize and great leaders. Oh, sorry, perfect. I will turn it over to the board. Still more things to celebrate.
I wanted to say a shout out to the high school, middle school with the arts that we had a choir concert with a band concerts. Everybody that put in that time and effort into it, they did a great job. And super packed, let me say that, both places, so.
Well, I went shopping at the bazaar at the high school, and it amazes me that the kids do this, because it's really a huge event. Both gyms were full, and there were a lot of different vendors, and it was just cool to see all the work that the students had put into that, and that they're doing it mostly on their own, so it was really, I think it's ASB leadership that started that, so it's a good fundraiser, I'm sure. I mean, it's fun to go shop, always.
I would just say one that I got to go to in my personal professional life. We does about 1,500 events annually. So to see our students put together an event that looks like a well-honed, annual event that's put on by adults, I'm just really proud of the work that they did and pulled it off. Another great service to the community as well.
I heard from people that it really turned out, yeah, great job.
And they had really good vendors, and it's really well done.
And I believe they sold out vendors.
Oh,
Yeah. It's all awesome. I'd also like to recognize our FFA students who visited the middle school. This is one of the things I absolutely love about our district, and something that I feel is pretty unique to us, that we're able to share with our high school students and their passion for FFA with our middle school science classes. Science class got to do a hands-on lesson about soil horizon layers, and we used pudding and crushed Oreos and some gummy worms. It just sounds like it's going to be on. It sounds like a really fun activity for the kids and a great educational experience. Probably something they'll remember forever. I'm sure that the kids will walk away remembering the layers of the soil as Oreos and gummy worms. So I want to give a shout out and say thank you to our FFA students who took on that project and shared what they love with our high school kids. So pretty cool.
and the FFAs now, they now have their pigs down behind the high school, and the cows are there, and bacon. And they're hard at work, I was down there like at 4 o'clock, and there was a student there shoveling the cedar chips for the pens and busy working. Taking good care of them.
I would just like to share a really cool thing that happened at the high school this week. I'm sure a lot of you already know, but one of our former students, Isaac Jones, just was drafted by the Sacramento Kings. He played at WSU and a couple other colleges. And this is his first paycheck, and he donated brand new shoes to every girls and boys basketball player. And the kids were like so excited. They were like, they could not believe that he would do something like that. And he actually gave them his number, because they were texting him back and saying thank you. And so it was a really cool thing to see him give back to the community like that, and to do it right away. And when asked how he felt, I think he said it was something like a dream come true or something. So I thought that was a really nice representation of giving back.
Very awesome.
Yes.
Very awesome. We'd also like to recognize, hopefully everybody's following us on social media and saw pictures of Bella Oslin, who was selected to go to the NCAA cheer camp, along with 2 other Oregon high school cheerleaders as all-American cheerleaders. So we're very fortunate in Oregon to have really thriving, extracurricular activities, and our cheer team and training season over the years is something we can definitely be proud about, and I think Bella and other cheerleader friends feel like that. So we want to thank Bella for representing the high school, and she got to cheer the varsity spirit spectacular jealous of that over Thanksgiving, and so we're just really proud of her as well. If you put on a rubber thing, a little town, and there's one more shout out to our maintenance team for those gearing up for work over the holiday season when our kids are out in the halls, and so they're just a really hard-working crew, and so we're all looking forward to vacation starting, they're gearing up, and so I thank them for that work, and I wish everyone a happy holidays.
Oh, there's one more thing I just want to add. I thought it was so, I'd love to see good publicity on the Citizens Blotter on Facebook, because that doesn't always happen. But I really want to thank Principal Mesa and Amy Lee for the grandma commented, her grandson has cancer, and she commented at how kind they were and how thoughtful and how they would do anything to help him when he had a bad day. And I'm just really proud of you guys for being that kind of a person. It's nice to read that, and there were other comments below about how much you care about students and things. So thank you for showing that to parents and young parents.
And I have another thank you I need to convey to everybody, and I saw Chris. And he's doing, I was surprised at how well he's doing. And he thanks everybody, Chris Glory thanks everybody for their support and kindness, and it means the world to him. He was very, very emotional. And he is so thankful that it feels like we are just getting. Really.
Okay, it is tradition here at our board meetings. You are warmly invited to stay through the rest of the business of the meeting. But if you're anxious to get home, totally understand. And you're invited to leave or you're invited to stay.
Trying to get a read Thank you. Bye, thank you.
Take care over. Meetings are such good sport.
Probably even October.
All right.
Pretend it's a movie.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yes, that was very nice.
Yes, it is. Very good. Next item, community and staff comments. I'm not aware that anyone signed up. So we're all good. And with that, I will turn it over to Susan.
I had one slide today. You'll quickly figure out which one it is when I get that far. Speaking of records, we set a record over the weekend at Tri-State. It's the first time a Warrior wrestling team has won Tri-State, and we set a record for the most points ever. And one of our wrestlers, AJ, was recognized as an outstanding wrestler for middleweight division. So I put all the list of our hardworking placers on stage, and that Tri-State competition is some of the best, very elite. To walk away with a title and have that kind of a dominating performance. Huge kudos, and if you've read Coach Coleman's post, he's a big fan of the old school worldwide wrestling. So I sent him a picture. I said, bringing the Macho Man back, a little bit of tribute to what you were able to accomplish this last weekend. So come watch, support the team, and I know they'll have a strong showing in state this year. I have a video. OSPI selected Ording to help give feedback on what kind of pizza should be served and included in the lunch program across the state next year. So you're seeing some action research. Director Christensen, myself, Cassie Cornelius, we were over there listening to our kids this week, and I thought you'd get a kick at what they had to say about their second, third, fourth slices of pizza. That's after lunch.
I like this leftover food. It's cheap here.
It was good, and I would recommend it, but I wish it was just a little bit more soft on the bottom.
I think the pizza is really good. The texture is, it's okay, it's kind of squishy. And I think the food is very good.
That's it. So students, after they sampled the slice, they were able to fill out a rubric and circle and provide some written feedback. And all that feedback was collected and sent to OSPI for final consideration. So that's pretty cool. We have 3 Ording High School cheerleaders that are selected as All-Americans. 2 went on the road over the last few weeks. These are the 2 Bellas. Bella Losmar represented the Cards in the Pearl Harbor Memorial Day Parade in Hawaii, celebrating, commemorating kind of those that fought and lost their lives in Pearl Harbor. And then Bella Osland was at Disney World in the Varsity Spirit Spectacular. And I just learned today, our Ording High School cheer team was selected to engage at the Citrus Bowl halftime celebration. So they're hitting the road over the holiday break and will be performing, I believe, on New Year's Eve on the 31st. So they're out there and about. Some pictures, you already mentioned that, so I won't elaborate on that, but just how thankful we are to have a community and people that remember the community when they leave and do great things. So that was cool. I'm sure Principal Freese will not give Isaac Jones a shot at a one-on-one rematch, because last time they played, Isaac was probably about 5'4", and Cliff won. Isaac is calling for the rematch, and Cliff says, I don't think so. I think 6'8" or 6'9" Isaac would throttle him. We will, of course, want to see that in assembly, so they're working to get it back so we can say thank you in person, so hopefully that'll materialize this spring after the season. Director Milo is right. Our band, our choir sounded amazing. What they don't know is I worked with Ms. McCarl this week, and we submitted a proposal to WASDA to try to have our performing arts perform at the WASDA conference in November. It's in Seattle, so hopefully we'll be selected. So keep fighting that. They sounded incredible. I've never heard middle school choir and band sound as good. They sound as good as many high school programs. And our stands were full with parents and guardians and community members coming up to celebrate over the last week. Get outside OSD. If you're not quite sure what to do, either yourself or your child, your family, we'll have lots of activities that are already on the website and posts that are coming out reminding families and kids to get outdoors. We had a group of PTR students film a little video. We put that out. We delivered 8,000 stickers over the last couple of weeks. And we deliver to every department as well. So we're trying to not only elevate healthy mind, healthy heart habits with our kids, but with our staff as well. So hopefully we'll see some posts come out on that hashtag, Get Outside OSD. Tonight in your consideration, you'll see a memorandum of understanding that formalizes a government-to-government relationship with the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. You'll see it's not just us, but most other school districts in Pierce County. And the agreement codifies many of the practices that we already have in place. We already have provisions around Native students wearing customary regalia, graduation, for instance. We already have time and memorial curriculum in place throughout the continuum. So it's really not a cost and never as much as an ongoing commitment to continuing to build effective government-to-government relationships. That MOU goes through 2035, and you will see embedded in many of the line items that the tribe is not only committed to revitalizing language, culture, but want to make sure they're good partners and good stewards with all the school districts in the county. And we are happy to present that to you for approval and consideration tonight. Kindness Week at OMS, part of that elevation of dignity continues. You will see Falcons. They turn kind of their conception to the acronym SOAR, which is really, they build, look for us. You'll see this in your main office and throughout their halls, but around support, ownership, acceptance, recognition. This week they were focusing on recognition related to that value around kindness. So Earl McBride is there, and they were doing some turkey bowling this week, getting the kids engaged and excited. And they do a wonderful job of catching kids being good and elevating and recognizing them. One of the elements that we're going to have right after the holiday is a legislative session that is looming. You may have heard, because I tell you about it regularly, that the state does not fully fund all of their constitutional obligations, and education is an ample provision, the Paramount Duty Clause in the Constitution. And one of the things that many school districts are promoting is the big three: special education, transportation, and MSOC, which stands for materials, supplies, operating costs. All of these are constitutionally required by the state to fully fund. We put a graph together that shows how well they did over the last 5 years. And you can see right now, Warning School District taxpayers are shorted almost $7 million between the actual costs in these three areas and what the state actually provides funding for. So you can see the breakdown in each fiscal year. We have taken that graphic and we are sending that in a cover letter along with other news in our school district, our Summit Fall newsletter, so that has gone out this week. And we'll continue those advocacy conversations with our elected officials as we get closer to legislative session. And Superintendent Rakedahl, if you could put it all together across the state, part of what our ask is collectively, all 295 districts, is for about $3 billion to get those gaps addressed. So we'll see what happens. Last November, a month ago, we were together and you heard schools talk about their continuous school improvement plans, or CSIP plans. At this point in the year, every PLC across the grade levels have identified progress and proficiency goals. So they looked at prior data and made commitments by each student of how many they think they can get to the state threshold of 3 or passing, or how many they can grow a full level. We have identified priority cluster standards in ELA and math in every tested area. We've worked with outside consultants. We started those meetings in September. And then PLCs have been thinking about how do we get kids involved. So we have a commitment system-wide to get our students involved. We call it mastery goals, but the big idea is that whatever the PLC's focus is, if we don't have student voice and involvement and engagement in that, they're not co-users. They're not co-benefiters of that work. So every PLC has a commitment around how do we get kids involved. If you remember the CSIP plans, every measurable goal had at least 3 different kinds of measures. So we had triangulated data. One of those was always student voice. So this is our student voice element of how we get our kids engaged and thinking about those elevated outcomes. So one of our practices that we're going to tackle tomorrow at our leadership meeting that was rescheduled from Wednesday is making sure we have a clear assessment plan. There's lots of ways to assess. The new iReady tool will actually allow us to assess a specific individual standard. So we're reviewing all those tools with our leaders and making sure we have a clear roadmap in January, February, March. What kind of data are we looking at on an ongoing basis? And then the 5th cycle, as Director Lee and Cabinet shared with you last month, is what is that telling us and what do we need to modify or change or redo, revise in our core instruction to make sure every child is getting to that benchmark. So it's a little bit of an update of where we're at, where we've been, and we're really excited to start seeing some of this data come through in springtime, so we know how our kids are progressing before they take the SPA. If you wondered, I don't even know if this picture does it justice, but you probably remember my report, the first day of school, we had 16 students access breakfast at Warding Elementary School. By about a month ago, we were at 220 breakfasts served each day. The count as of last week, over 300 breakfasts. So Cassie and her team are prepping over 300 meals each day. We were fortunate enough to benefit from the United Way's incredible donation of $10,000. Those hot carts, meal carts get loaded, packed, delivered. If we tried to serve all of those in the lunchroom, we would be missing lots of school every morning. It's not designed, that facility wasn't even built for 300 kids. So we're serving breakfast to over half of our children, and it's incredible feed each morning. So we wanted to call that out to Cassie and her team for that incredible work. And also, I think there are things, and I would give kudos to the state for their community provision clause to make those meals accessible and free of charge for every student at Warding Elementary. That is, I mean, if that data doesn't help tell you the value and importance to kids and families, I don't know what will. So we want to keep fighting for that. One of the pieces that will be in your weekly update tomorrow is a draft of an Warding School District Facilities Health and Safety Guide. Curtis and I have looked at OSHA policies, State Department of Labor and Industry, Puget Sound ESD, indoor air quality standards, you name it. And we've codified all those in one space to make sure we have a consistent, uniform understanding of the do's and don'ts to keep kids safe. So we wanted you to see that. We're going to be training our principals and our directors in the spring and then rolling that out to staff. I just wanted you to have the same access to information. One of the areas that's going to be a little bit of a nudge from where we're at in COVID years, if you remember, everybody had their own microwave and refrigerator, and it couldn't be near anybody. We are under a strict accountable standard by 2026 to reduce the amount of energy we are using in our facilities, and you can't do that with 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old facilities outside of boilers and lights. So one of the areas that we're going to have to look at is reducing the amount of appliances that we have. And so we put some language in there about what our vision is for how we can move forward down the road. Speaking of facilities, we do have 4 portables that we are going to be looking to add to the Warding Elementary, Warding High School campus for 25 and 26 to have those up and ready by late August. They will be showing up in March to April, which we'll begin the process of power, and carpet, and furniture. At this point, we believe that likely for next year, Warding Elementary will expand to the west wing, and that will become elementary space. The portables will now be high school use. There are a lot of reasons for that. It will allow us for a couple more years without a bond on the horizon to maintain parity amongst our 2 elementaries. And when you think about elementary needs, the accessible nature of bathrooms, not having children walk across a busy street where we don't have supervision, Cardinal Lane, which stays open, and we have trucks and deliveries coming and going. We believe it's a safer, probably more optimal solution long term. So part of our spring is figuring out what that's going to look like and what kind of furniture and fencing alterations would we need to do, what are the implications for transportation, food service, things like that. And we will be continuing that parking expansion in the new field. So Curtis's team, their goal is to have that open by March, prior to us putting a portable in the south parking lot, so high school students have a place to park, because every one portable we put in that is going to get rid of about 15 parking spaces. And they don't have 15 to give, so we're going to make an alternate process. Thinking about traffic, we already know we back up into the highway every morning. So we're looking at potential routing options. Maybe instead of Warding Elementary using Cards Lane, can we go back to what we used to do, which is Bolin Avenue, and route from behind? The trick with that is there's a piece of property right here that we do not own. This is private property. So we're looking to see to what degree do we have an easement. If not, can we secure an easement? And that means talking with our legal teams, adjacent property owners, the city, to try to come back. But if you can just look conceptually, there's much more room for stage cars back here than there is just this little jaunt right there. And that little jaunt drives right through pedestrians, deliveries, pickup, drop off. We literally have to adjust the high school schedule to work around some of the congestion points, so to provide a little bit of a safer campus too. I don't have an update on that other than we are looking at that as one of the many things that need to happen with this transition. And with that, There's much more that's been happening that I could discuss, but that concludes my report for this month. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Why did they change it in the first place?
This property owner that is no longer living in that home complained. And basically, just as the property owner was restricted from ingress and egress to their property, so in kind of joint conversations with the city and the district, we just agreed to put up a fence, which worked well when your elementary is probably 300 children. When it's we're at 576, Connie just told me today, 7 more have registered, and we have hundreds of homes on the horizon, so they're almost 600. So a great solution in 2018 is becoming untenable. Now 2024 headed into 2025.
So potentially, we could have more students even come in March.
Absolutely.
Right. As these homes come online.
You'll get additions this very year, before the end of the year, from Tahali build out, from Daybreak, which is already under construction, and Uplands will open their model homes, up to 1,100 homes total over the development, but they have their first 155 lots sold to builders. They'll have model homes open by the 6th of January, and they believe occupancy of 35 to 45 homes by April to May. So absolutely, we'll continue to see the growth come, which will impact every campus we have.
So by adding the portables for now, we should be okay for now.
It gives the elementary room to grow. It's a net neutral gain for the high school. They give up 8 classrooms, they gain 8. We think we're okay for 1 more year, but we'll be adding 4 more double portables, or 8 classrooms, the following school year. Is when we're looking at that middle school bubble, it's a couple years before that really pops at the high school. So over the next 2 years, you're talking about many, many more portables at the high school, elementary campus, and then that's it. There is no more room to add. And so when we wrote in the letter to the community that we will, in the very near term, have to consider alternate options, it's about that close.
And adding the portables and rejoining the West Wing back to OES, that while it will help with classroom space, it won't help at all with the gym, cafeteria, library, office, all the other
Correct.
spaces.
Yep.
Yeah. But it will help out with the bathroom situation, so I do
Yes.
think that that's a really good plus. And I can tell you, because I live in the neighborhood, and I remember when Michelle Curry was the one that closed down the street there, that there was only one person in the neighborhood that complained. It was just the one person there on that corner, the far corner. But the neighborhood is also, lots of different people live here now.
And I know this, but I can't remember, what was about the average price of a portable?
Each double portable is $250,000 for the facility, and we have additional costs that we have to engage in. So you have furniture, carpet, power, utilities, permitting. So I don't have an exact total, but you're probably around $300,000 per. We will be using impact fees this year. Marcy's done the budget, as you know she does so well. And so we've already forecast out what we have and what's coming is enough to take care of those 4 double portables and the land payment for the 65 acres, nothing more. So part of our ongoing fight with Pierce County is adequate funding for impact fees, as well as adequate funding with the state on school construction assistance, because they're pennies on the dollar compared to our actual costs. So there are several pieces that we'll continue lobbying for with county and state constituencies.
On the portable that's back behind coming down, is the tearing that down, is that happening?
That'll happen over winter break.
Okay.
The building formerly known as the ECAP building will be no more by the 1st of the year. We've actually finally found the gas line that is shut off, properly secure, so there will be no hiccup in Kathy's neighborhood a week or 2 from now. And then we believe we'll be able to put 3 and hopefully 4 double-sized portables back there over the next 2 years.
Band-Aids,
All Band-Aids.
all Band-Aids. Any questions, any other questions? Okay, you very much. Every time we talk facilities and our
I know.
Things. All right. Next up is our September financial report, which looked lovely, being the first month into the year. I didn't see any questions come through, so just checking with the board to make sure all is well. Dr. Graham, thank you.
Yes, thank you. I just think it's even pretty amazing that we can put all the portables in and pay the payment. So,
Yeah.
you know, pretty thankful for that because
Yes. Yes. It's ironic, I continue to run into people who are in other districts and asking us if we're closing schools or having budget challenges, and I'm like, no, we are exactly the opposite, exactly the opposite. We have many more kids than we have space for, and we have sound financials. So, we're in the best position we could be. Next item is our non-discrimination affirmative action report, and it's prepared by Dr. Christensen. I didn't see any questions come through on that. It's kind of a state of the union sort of report, so all is well. And then the next item is prepared by Dr. Lee about our language access plan. So this is actually something that has changed quite a bit since I first joined the board. And I'm really proud of the work that goes into making sure all of our families have access in their language that they need to understand how to support their own students and interact with the district. So that's great.
I was amazed at the diversity of languages.
Yes, yes, that also has changed over time as well.
Very much so.
Yeah,
21 uniquely different languages with our families currently.
yes. No questions? Okay, good. And then the mother load, first reading of policy considerations. This was also a first for me to have so many on the plate, but we had some really big ones to look at our prior meeting, and we wanted to make sure that we did them all justice. And
Yes, it's not reindeer on the roof, it's our granddaughters.
great. So that we did have some questions going into these, and they look like they had all been suitably addressed. I just want to check in with Melissa. Melissa, was there any further questions from you?
Shake your head no.
Okay, wonderful.
I just wanted to say, thank you so much for the emergency plans that are going to be shared with substitutes. I'm sure Joanne will attest to this. When you're a substitute, and that doesn't mean that there's not going to be a fire drill or an emergency or something. In fact, I wanted to share a short reason why that's so important. So I was subbing in a kindergarten class, and a kid got a cut on their head. I knew what to do. Do you think I knew where the rubber gloves were in that particular classroom? No. So from then on, I kept a pair in my bag, because if you don't know, and every room is going to be different. And so this is just so important. So thank you. Thank you.
yes, after subbing, I have a new appreciation for subbing.
So thank you.
Very good. If there's no further discussion on any of these, I will entertain a motion to move these forward. No motion.
Motion on this is just, discussion.
Okay, just discussion, and then we'll go ahead and push them forward to second reading.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm so glad Bonnie's knows this one. Thank you, Bonnie. Yeah, this was a big batch of them, and Dr. Lee, thank you for your comments as well to our questions. So happy to see these move forward. And the next item on our agenda is the consent agenda, which includes vouchers, personnel, the MOU with the People Out Tribe. our previous meeting minutes. I will take a motion for that.
I move to approve items 1 through 4 on the consent agenda.
Second?
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Melissa. All right, next up, these are our annual lease agreements with the Lions Community Park, the Family Support Center, and the Senior Center. And there were no questions, they were prepared by, so I will take a motion if there's no questions.
I move to approve the 2025 Ording Family Support Center, Ording Lions Community Park, and Ording Senior Center lease agreements as presented.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, Melissa? Thank you. Sorry to make you talk. All right, so the next item is Superintendent Hudson-Buehler's mid-year performance review. And this meeting, it's been set aside just to help us prepare. And we've all agreed that standards 1, 3, and 8, as presented, are the most appropriate for the work that we are focused on this year and would like to push forward through the district. This is our opportunity to have any discussion about it, and then the formal review will occur in January. So I want to check in with board members to see, I know we've all agreed offline, everybody's on the same page on the standards. And the next question is, did you need any supporting work aligned to these standards, or do you feel like you have what you need in order to participate in these evaluations?
I feel like I'm good.
Okay.
I would just want to point out, if I may briefly, this is a new tool from what you have used last year. I don't know when, because this tool's dated 2018, but when Bonnie and I were preparing, we noticed this tool is an 8 standard tool. The tool we previously used the last few years was a 6 standard tool, and 2 of the standards had a couple of different strands. So conceptually, I think you'll see the rubric and the language looks very similar, but it is different in nature. Bonnie will take a summary similar to what you have done the last several years, focus on those 3 standards. And the last thing I'd remind you about is anything and everything we do is evidence. From a newsletter, a conversation, to a Friday update, to you just name it. So as we're thinking about the broad context of what happens across the school district that we're responsible for, everything is fair game. And as Director Thibodeau is saying, if you want anything to be brought forward or reminded or discussed, happy to talk about that in a 2x2 or send you anything that would be most helpful. But not in the next 2 weeks, as I'm planning to do some vacation. Evaluation aside, we're going to Palm Springs with the missus. So before or after that, preferably.
Enjoy the sunshine.
All right. We will, if anything does come up, I do feel like we have a preponderance of details for each one of these. But if anything does come up, we will circle back around with you when you return.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, board comments.
Just want to thank everyone and have a great break, Christmas break. Have fun and relax.
I would echo the same. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everyone. I don't know, December kind of caught me off guard. It's been a wild year here in the district with so much to celebrate and to be thankful for. And I appreciate the work and dedication of the board and everyone here on the team at the district office. So yeah, those are my only comments, is to thank everyone.
If you would like to see the red shoes in action, the lady cards are hitting the court in about 20 minutes. So you're more than welcome to come next door and see a home game.
Nice. Kathy, did you have anything?
Just relax, enjoy your time off, have fun with your families.
Yeah. And Melissa, are you good? Just give us a thumbs up.
I'm good. Thank you for letting me remote in. It's not exposing you all.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Then with that, I will adjourn the meeting tonight at 6:00.